right, welcome back in. Just another football show. Talking Super Wild Card Weekend.
Super.
First game. It's the first one. It's not the first preview we're putting out. Just
the first game.
It's just how it works out based on who we were able to interview and when.
Is this a disrespectful time slot to put a team in? This is usually reserved for like the AFC South match, something that is going to be.
It's the late afternoon game on Saturday. See, the thing is, I don't want to get too deep into this because it's an open, but before the 7 seed was introduced, which we talked about on Monday, go back and listen to that podcast on whether or not we believe the 7 seed and the way the NFL has done this is actually a good thing or not. Spoiler alert, I think the answer is no. Before, we got 3 games each day, right? So we had a noon, 3:30, primetime game each day. And yes, this time slot, maybe the noon game on Saturday was a little more disrespectful, but I think in the schedule that we have now, this probably is, yes, the most disrespectful time slot you can get. The first game, the late afternoon. And look at the Vegas numbers. They agree. This game is the least close one if you look at the spreads, right?
Spread,
10 popoints right now.
You get home from the grocery store, put the groceries away, make a little lunch. This game's going to be on in a little bit. So I don't know. I do think, the divisional games, the games against teams in the same division are always a lot better than you anticipate.
Trap game, man.
This is Seattle versus this is the third go for these teams. I think it's not one that you can just say, okay, San Francisco got it, check, move on to next week. Yeah. I think if they're coming in with that mindset, and they're probably not, but if they're coming in with that mindset, I think they're going to get a rude awakening from the Seattle Seahawks, who are more than just happy to be here.
Yeah, so we're going to talk to our 49ers fan, Ray, who runs that Middle of the Map Tattoo convention here in the central Iowa area. If you're around, check that out. That's coming up in the near future. If you are interested in that, check it out. And then we're going to talk to John, who maybe we can convince him to getting an even bigger tattoo because he owes us one, I think. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see if he remembers that.
Go back and listen to the preview because we all had very low expectations for the Seahawks team, as well as everybody else.
Yeah,
I think
we weren't unique
coming in.
This.
We weren't the only ones. I think I had them as a top 3 pick. Which they still managed to
find
Seattle
Seahawks
in a different way.
The Seattle Seahawks have put eggs on all of our faces, and now they want to keep going. They want to continue egging our faces. The metaphor fell apart pretty quick.
It's gone. It's fine.
You know what I mean. They want to keep embarrassing us, keep living on, keep squawking on, and I think they have a shot.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, trap game things happen. Let's do it. We're gonna get Ray on the phone and give him a little conversation first. Then we'll talk to John and let's just get it going. All right, so now we got a 49ers.
Ray on
49ers Seahawks matchup coming up this weekend. Ray, your team has been just all over the map this season. I was reminded earlier in the week, we started this season with Trey Lance, which I totally forgot about, that whole thing, and then moved to Jimmy. Now we got the Brock Purdy experience going on, which hopefully will just get us a few extra clicks just dropping his name in the details of the episode. Jesus, the way things are going with him. You traded for CMC. You got all these things going. Man, how does it feel right now going in 2 seed as a 49ers fan?
Ecstatic. I mean, Jimmy goes down, and I'm just kind of hoping that we get into the playoffs, and then maybe he'll be back. And, we're just kind of playing with house money with the whole season at that point. So anything's kind of a plus, and now we're sitting here with the 2 seed. Feels great.
Yeah. Didn't lose a game after the bye week, after week 9. Basically been on a tear, red hot, even with Brock Purdy, third-string quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, all that, blah, blah, blah. Still been a high-powered offense and a very good defense to go with it, best defense in the league. And looking here at a matchup, the third matchup against the Seattle Seahawks, you beat them twice already this year. Is there any fear in your heart about this Seattle Seahawks team?
I think that they'll want to use Walker, which will be to our advantage. I hope they kind of keep it to the ground game, but Tyler Lockett's still got a little speed, and we've been getting kind of beat deep here the last few weeks, it feels like. So, he he's beat us a few times. Lockett's been part of Russell Wilson taking us down a few times, so I'm still a little gun shy there.
A little PTSD.
Yeah.
But it's all kind of come together for this the San Francisco team. They're leading the league in the takeaway differential plus 13. But you're right. If there's a weak point for the team, it is the pass defense, 20th in the league, allowing 220 yards per game. But it is the hottest team, or one of the hottest teams in the NFL, in your San Francisco 49ers versus Seattle Seahawks, who I would say limped into this game. So got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, feeling real good. I'm glad. I mean, of the three teams that we were potentially going to face, even though I hate even having to beat a divisional foe twice in a year, I was happy to get the Seahawks of the three.
Yeah, seems like the obvious pick of the teams. It's the one we talked about it on the podcast on Wednesday. The one that we as a fan base, or not a fan base, but as like just a fan of the NFL wanted to see least. So it makes sense that it would be the one that, as a fan of the Niners, you would be rooting for the most. Give me just a couple minutes. Talk about this CMC trade. Like, talk me through. Like, we haven't talked to too many Niners fans outside of Jam about how like what the emotions were when that happened, and just how well he's played for this team since joining. I know he was on, I think, the highest percentage of fantasy football winning teams this season. How are you feeling having him, and now even having Isaiah Mitchell coming back, to spell him, and this is something that the Niners have done really well, right? Is just have a million running backs, and all of them will knock you in the mouth. Like, that's just what you guys do, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I was at when first when there's a guy like that on the table, you kind of are like, oh, you play that what if you win the lottery, but you kind of expect that you never are going to win. So when it actually did happen, I mean, I was stoked, happy with what they gave up, but part of me is thinking like, man, we've been doing this with anybody, but obviously that's worked out. I saw a metric the other day, on who knows how you perfectly evaluate such a thing, but it's been like one of the best acquisitions ever. As far as production goes from getting a trade in season. So I can only be happy as can be getting Elijah back. Jordan Mason gets some run in there, and just with a few other injuries healthy too. I mean, I feel like we're so deep because we've got a lot of guys in rotations in other spots too.
Yeah, that's kind of the San Francisco issue that they've had for years and years and years, is the injuries kind of pile up and maybe derail a season. We even had that here two times. You lost your starting quarterback, but this seems to be going a little bit different. It seems to be like you're getting, guys are getting healthy at the right time, and the guys that have stepped up for them have done a phenomenal job. Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We've dealt with a lot of injuries. And it feels weird saying it. Yeah, I miss Mosley a lot, but it feels weird saying it that we're on our third string quarterback. But this is the healthiest roster I think we've taken in the postseason, under Shanahan probably.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a big factor. Obviously, I think going to be a big factor through the playoffs is having those guys back, having those bodies, the connection that we've seen develop between Purdy and George Kittle. Purdy chucking it to CMC.
Was a question I was going to ask about, was this connection that seems to have sort of manifested into watch these guys in like post-game interviews and on social media, just having all kinds of fun. It's just got to love to see it, right?
I love it, and I love it because, I mean, just being in this state right now, if your team's not playing or in the playoffs,
you're going wrong.
You're almost a 49ers fan at this point, so like the whole state's kind of behind it, so it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see, and the story or the tale of Brock Purdy will only get better as these playoffs go on, but, you have to overcome the Seattle Seahawks on Saturday. This is the first game of Super Wild Card Weekend, a Saturday at 3:30 our time. Give us a little idea how you think this game is going to go. What do the Niners need to do to beat the Seahawks for the third time in the year and progress on to the divisional round?
We just need to do exactly what we've been doing. Brock Purdy somehow only throws it like 20 times a game, but finishes with a 120 plus, quarterback rating with a couple of touchdowns in the mix, and let CMC do his thing. And hopefully, I'm, like I said, I'm worried about getting beat over the top, but but I think, the matchup fares well for us. I think in all the playoff matchups that I've probably came and talked on here now, like this is the one I actually aren't, not super scared of, which, any given Sunday, but I feel good and I'm ready for whoever's on coming next.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like this is different than the teams of the past. Just not having that, laundry list of guys that are injured or are playing through something or, maybe in or out. Having all your guys or having most of your guys back, having a good, solid setup at quarterback, not having to worry about the Jimmy Garoppolo of it all. It feels a little bit different. But Ray, where are you going to be on Sunday? It's Sunday, 3:30. Where are you watching the game? What's your feel like during the game?
Sunday, 3:30?
Saturday. What did I say? Sunday.
Come on.
Saturday. 3:30.
Saturday. Yeah.
I said
First
that,
game. First game.
First game.
Scare a guy like that. He's got plans all figured out, and you try to tell him it's a different time.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to be watching it. I got a few buddies that almost every playoff game we go to we all live around here in Altoona, and we just go to spectators, and it's kind of our tradition to meet up there and get a Niners table going out there.
There you go. Love all that.
Yeah.
All right, so give me your thoughts on this game. How's this game go? Give me a final score prediction. What do you think here for this one?
We're gonna get in some second stringers again. It's gonna be 13 to we'll push 30.
All right. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I don't think this game's exactly a close one. We're looking forward to games further down the line when it comes to this 49ers team because there are some good opponents coming up. This isn't one of them. I would have much rather seen this team play, even the Packers or the Lions.
America's team, the Lions.
I don't know about all that.
I wish the Lions would have got in, but also, it's tradition to knock those Packers out of the playoffs. So I will be missing that this year.
Yeah, but that was you guys' job. I just assumed you guys were going to do it, but it didn't happen. So.
Any seeded Packers team would be easier than the Seahawks team, just the way that San Francisco rolls.
Yeah,
maybe. All right, Ray, man, we appreciate you making the time. I know scheduling's been a pain in the ass. We appreciate you finding the time to talk to us, and we'll be bugging you to try to find time to talk to us next week if they win.
I'm hoping to be talking to you guys soon.
All right, man, we appreciate you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, now we are talking Seahawks with our resident Seahawks fan, John. John, how does it feel to be here in the playoffs, Super Wild Card Weekend? You get the first game of Super Wild Card Weekend here on a Saturday. It's the 3:30 game for us, 1:30 game for you. How are you feeling just being in the show?
Oh, I'm very excited. I didn't expect to be here, so just happy to be along for the ride. As short as it may last.
I distinctly remember our conversation during the preview, and we were pretty down on this team. I know we had just done like a preseason top and bottom five, and I had them towards the bottom. And I think you said something like 4 or 5 wins. They end up winning 9 games, making the playoffs.
I think I had 5, so they almost doubled that.
He had 5.
Yeah.
Ryan, you can pretend like all you want. We literally listened to his interview back because we had an extra minute or two. And we got some bad news.
Because we were certain there was something in there you said. If this team makes the playoff, so we went back and we listened. You did say if this team makes the playoff, you would get a Geno or a Drew Lock tattoo.
Oh, God, I didn't remember that.
Yeah. I thought you said you would eat a shoe, but it was actually a tattoo.
I knew there was something.
Okay.
I knew there was a bold proclamation that all of us agreed with at the time.
Yeah. And we all said, you don't have to worry about that. And lo and behold, here we are.
Look what's happened.
Yep.
Well, I expected, the rest of the NFC West to help me out with this, but look what happened to the Rams and the Cardinals.
No
Rams
joke.
And speaking of the NFC West, your opponent is your NFC West rival, the 49ers. You've played them twice this year. They won both times. One of those times was with Iowa State's own Brock Purdy. How are you feeling about not the rematch, but the 3-match here? Yes. Seattle versus
the trilogy.
San Francisco 3.
As much as I hope it'll go different than the previous 2 games, I'm not super confident about their chances, but we'll see. There could be some moments. I think that Niners defense is going to be an issue for Geno and Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, we've seen the rise of Kenneth Walker. He's been one of the bright spots here. Geno has played very well throughout the year. Obviously, DK and Tyler Lockett both very good. And Tyler Lockett has a habit of getting over the top on the 49ers, as our 49ers fan pointed out. So there's some real meat here on the bone. This isn't a castaway game.
I think it'll definitely be closer to the second game than the first. The second they lost by what?
It was
20 points, 30 something.
The first one was 27-7. The second one was 21-13. So
that's good. I looked it up not too long ago, but I'd already forgotten.
Don't blame you.
Yeah.
Don't blame you.
Yeah, Seahawks started off super strong. Surprised a lot of people. They won that game against Denver. The Russell Wilson one. That was just a fantastic game to watch, just because the Broncos were in such a mess. But then riled off some big victories. Lions, Chargers, Giants, all playoff teams they beat.
That Lions game ended up being extremely important.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, and this came back around where you needed to beat the Rams to make it into the playoffs. Took overtime, but you did beat those Rams, and now you're here. So how do you feel about the current state of the Seahawks? They've lost a few. They've had some injuries to deal with. Geno seems to kind of be regressing to the mean, not playing at that MVP type level. How are you feeling about the team at the moment?
I still feel pretty good. They're not quite at the that elite level as a top NFL team. They don't really feel like a Super Bowl contender. But they have their moments. They have a lot of big playability. So I do think they could potentially get hot and go on a run in the playoffs. Although I don't think it's extremely likely. But mostly, I just feel like they're already so much further along in the rebuilding process than I expected them to be at this point. And they still have 2 first-round picks next year. So I'm just really glad they're where they're at the moment, and everything that comes in the postseason just feels like an extra bonus.
Yeah, and I think obviously this is the first game on Saturday, and maybe that's the NFL maybe not giving you a ton of hope. Vegas has this as a 10-point game. Niners is a 10-point favorite, but like you said, it's all kind of gravy. It's all kind of a little extra to get in here, to have a shot, to be on. To be still active in playing meaningful games in January, it's far ahead of where anyone thought that the Seahawks would be, us included, us all included.
Yeah.
If the Seahawks do stand a chance here, and I feel like that's already a biased way of posing the question, but bias be damned. If the Seahawks have a chance, what do you think it is? What do you think they would have to do to take advantage and win against the San Francisco team?
I think a big game from Geno would really be important. He's fallen off recently in the last couple games, but San Francisco has such a strong rushing defense. It's going to be really hard for Kenneth Walker to get going if they're focusing on jamming up the running game. So I think if Geno can get going, find DK and Tyler Lockett for some big plays, stretch the field so they can just kind of open up their options and make some room for Walker to get going. I think that's going to be important, because I really think just finding a way to get some points scored against the Niners is going to be very hard. So they need to find some creative avenues for that.
If they do have a weakness, San Francisco, it is the pass D. They're 20th in the league against the pass, allowing over 220 yards per game. It is exploitable. It is their weakness. So I do think that Geno, and we've seen some fantastic games out of Geno this year. I think if Geno is on point, Seattle absolutely has a chance and could be sending the Niners home early. Brock Purdy home early, but it is a tough task, as you said. John, give me a little bit of game flow. Tell me how you think this game is going to go, and then maybe give me a final score there. And I say maybe, but you know that you have to.
Okay. Let's see. Game flow. Let's see. Let's starting off. I'm visualizing it. Yep. I think Seattle struggles at the outset. I think it's a slow first quarter for them, but I think think San Francisco is also going to start a bit slow. They're both going to be kind of run heavy early. I think San Francisco takes an early lead, like let's say like 10-3 at halftime. And then I think after the half, I think Seattle gets a little hot. Geno gets going, gets a little more offense flowing. Seahawks get maybe a quick score in. But then San Francisco responds, bounces back, and, fourth quarter is all Brock Purdy time. I think San Francisco regains control of the game and takes the win. Let's say 24-14 Niners.
Okay. I mean, that is a respectable game, like you said, San Francisco is a very good team. Seattle still kind of sorting it out, and to be here is a win. So, seeing as
let me change that because I realized that final score didn't match the halftime score. So 24-13.
There you go, 24-13. Okay, that adds up. That adds up.
Yes, the math checks out. Maybe.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to triple check it.
I think Vegas would prefer that. That's the 10 points. Or that's 11 points.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think it's it is not a foregone conclusion by any means. Obviously, two playoff teams. Obviously, anything can happen any given Sunday. Even though this is on a Saturday, anything can happen. But just going to be a fun one to watch. All of these teams are playoff calibers. All these teams are going to be competitive, and I don't think the Seattle Seahawks are laying down and letting San Francisco run all over them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that
feels right.
Yeah. If they do win, if Seattle does win, we'll have you back next week, and you can tell us all about your painful, excruciating tattoo.
The long tattooing process.
Do you want to say if they win, you'll get a different tattoo?
It's a full Yakuza-style back tattoo with Geno Smith's face. That's what I have planned.
Honestly, I would love that. Geno, he just pops. He has such a good smile, and that'd be awesome, man. And when they win the Super Bowl, you're going to have to get that.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll crowdfund it.
I will crowdsource
get on Kickstarter.
The shit out of that tattoo.
I'm sure we can make it happen.
We can get some things done. All right, man. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we definitely appreciate you popping on, spending some time with us tonight. If it happens, I sounded very certain that they were not going to be in this point.
Any given Saturday.
And they were, so I don't want to sound like a fool twice in a well, they'd be more than twice in a season, but twice talking to you in a season. So we'll say, who knows?
Yeah.
All right, man. We appreciate you. We will we'll talk at you another time.
All right. Thank you.
See you, John.
See you.
I don't want to close that.
All right. Another one down. Did it all. We got it.
Yeah, and this
I guess in theory it's not all because in time this was the last one that we recorded, guys. Like it worked out. John's West Coast, so it works out easier.
No, I really do think okay, you kind of sold me on what could happen here to for Seattle to get the victory. If we see some of that really good Geno, which we have seen this year, I think this is by no means already checking the box of San Francisco moving on to next week. So really kind of excited for all these games, but I'm a little bit more excited for this one than I was maybe when we started.
Yeah, to me, any given, like he said, jokingly, any given Saturday division game, man, shit can happen. Shit can go sideways. And would I bet on it? Absolutely not. But would I be surprised? Yeah, I'd be surprised. That's also true. All right, guys. Like I've said time and time again, make sure you guys are checking out all these interviews. We really appreciate it. We've taken a good chunk of time. We've talked to a lot of really good fans. We've talked to all 12 teams in the playoffs this week. And we will be back at you next week with more of them. If you missed any of them, go back, check them out, give them a listen, give them a share. If you like what you're listening to and you haven't listened to the podcast, give that a listen. We've done a lot of podcast stuff. 2 episodes this week, recap, and we've got the preview in the books. Should be available for you Friday morning, as we usually do during the regular season. We're going Wednesdays and Fridays, so make sure you guys are checking that out. Check out the TikTok, the Instagram, Twitter, at Another FB Show. If you're on Facebook, we've got a Facebook group. Just find our page, Just Another Football Show. Easy to find the group from there. It's a fun conversation. Lots of fun things going down in there. Just doing all the damn things. We very much appreciate everything that's went down this week. Make sure you guys are checking it all out.
All of our great fans, fantastic fans.
It's been great. Until next week, or the next episode you listen to. If you just caught this one, go find another one. and we'll
There's
say
lots of
until
them.
the next episode. It's what it is. But until whatever the next episode is you listen to, because I would very much appreciate if you listen to another episode after this one. This has been Just Another Football Show.
Bye.